We have called together the Easter Sunday, the final Sunday at Passover Roundtable, and we're joined by Democratic political analyst Marianne Marsh, Republican political analyst Rob Gray. Great to have you with us, guys.
Happy Easter, everyone. Unfortunately, we're still talking about the pandemic. Governor Baker says COVID transmission in schools is under 1%. This a week before the first group, elementary school students, are required to go back full-time in most districts. Premature, or should we be comfortable to send our children back into classrooms, Rob?
It's not premature, it's actually too late. Parents were ready to send their kids back to schools in September. There are some kids who have not seen the inside of a classroom for 1 year, which is ridiculous. And why? It's because of teacher unions, it's because of educational bureaucrats, both at the local and the state levels, and school committees in towns that get bowled over by teachers unions. I'm glad the governor is pushing it. I'm glad the state education department is pushing it. It's absolutely safe, and it would have been safe for a long, long time ago.
Marianne, premature or too late, as Rob says?
Well, in the past month alone, COVID cases in Massachusetts have jumped by 44%. And who's leading the pack? Kids, 0 to 19. In fact, in the last 2 weeks alone, there are 7,000 cases, 0 to 19. The very kids who are going back to school. So clearly premature. Clearly not enough being done, and clearly we've got a lot of case outbreaks across the state again. So failure has been familiar for many, many weeks and months now, but why add insult to injury when the very age group that is going back to school is the one that has the most COVID cases in the state right now?
But guess what, Marianne? They're not in school. They're getting it outside of school.
So being in a classroom is going to make it even better.
They should have been there in September. The Catholic schools in Greater Boston were there in September. They've done absolutely fine, much lower rates than people going to restaurants.
Throw them in the Petri dish. That's what's going to happen.
That was good. I was letting it go all the way to the end here. Good exchange. Now, okay, the next item. Meanwhile, Massachusetts residents may not be happy with the opening weeks of the vaccine rollout, but over 70% think that the governor has done a good job handling the pandemic. With more vaccines arriving and appointments getting easier to nab, does his re-election chances, if he does decide to run, look pretty good? Marianne, let me start with you.
Well, I read the poll. I went through the crosstabs. Let me tell you what the real news is there. Yes, Charlie Baker's favorability rating about the pandemic is in the 70s across the board, low 70s, right? Then you ask the next question. How did he do with rolling out the vaccines across Massachusetts? Now you're dropped to the mid 50s, high 40s. One question to the next. The third question is, how do you think Massachusetts did on the vaccine rollout compared to other states? It drops to the 30s. High 30s, low 40s across the state, in all cases across every demographic. That is a big problem, because if Charlie Baker runs again and it's about vaccines and COVID, then he's got a huge problem. You don't go from 70 to 30 for nothing.
Well, and the governor's election is a year from November, Rob. And time, you know what, you put a lot of time between, anything can happen, you know?
Marianne makes a good point. I think the governor is in very good shape politically, but, and here's the but, this Hunger Games policy where 63-year-olds right now are pitted against 18-year-olds who scoop ice cream one night a week to get vaccinated right now is way out of step with what other states are doing. They're all doing it by age. We know that age is the biggest factor in having a serious case or dying. And I think that is an Achilles heel for the governor, although, as I've said before, he's gotten vaccinations back on track. But we have to see how it plays out over the next couple weeks.
I would just add two things. One, it's clear that COVID, as we've said for many months now, is Charlie Baker's true opponent. And if it becomes about vaccines, he's got a big, big problem. And it's clear in this poll, people know the difference. And they're making that distinction. And that is going to be tough to change.
It's looking more and more likely that acting mayor Kim Janey of Boston will run this fall. She's made a big splash with free transit rides for needy commuters, and more rent relief for eligible tenants. Is she looking more and more like the front runner? Rob?
I think a few good moments on your honeymoon is too soon to declare, to use the front runner term. She certainly has advantages as the incumbent in this race, but there are a lot of other candidates who are going to split the vote. And she hasn't had to deal with a crisis yet. She hasn't had to deal with the Boston Police Commissioner situation, which we know is out there. Getting kids back into schools, that hasn't happened yet. So there's a long, long way to go, and it could be a bumpy road.
Marianne, I see you nodding. You're agreeing with Rob?
I'm agreeing with a lot of what Rob says. So first, let's dispel the notion that she may or may not run. She's hired a campaign manager. She's hired a finance director, and they're soliciting, donations on Zoom calls. So I think we know she's going to run. To Rob's point, he's exactly right. How does she perform when she really has a problem? She's taking all the advantages of the office to get herself known, dropping the puck at the Bruins game, doing the COVID briefings, doing national interviews. She's doing all the right things. But how does she perform in the tough moments? That's going to be the test. Tom Menino had to do it in 4 months. She's got 6. We'll see if she can pull it off.
With George Floyd's death and Asian hate crimes front and center, is it time for Democrats to also address the demographics of their primary calendar? For example, should New Hampshire and Iowa be replaced at the top of the list with states with more diversity and growing populations, for example, like South Carolina and Nevada? Let me start with you, Marianne.
Well, look, Iowa should have been gone ages ago, and they threw themselves out when they couldn't count their votes last year. They're a caucus. They shouldn't have been in it. What I would prefer is to keep New Hampshire and pair it with South Carolina. Pair Ohio and Florida, pair Texas and Michigan. So you're getting states with lots of diversity on the one side, and you're getting a lot of white working class voters on the other side of it. And it gives Democrats time to organize both. And that's exactly the approach Biden's taking in office as president with his policies. And I think that would be a really smart thing to do for the nomination process.
Rob, what do you think? Is this time to reshape the primary calendar?
I think it's an overreaction. I mean, listen, Iowa only picks the nominee 50% of the time. Iowa has only picked the president 3 times in modern history. And let's remember, Barack Obama, our first black president, won Iowa. Hillary Clinton, first female nominee, won Iowa. On the other hand, this year, Joe Biden, the white male nominee, beat Elizabeth Warren 48-7% in South Carolina, and South Carolina was determinative of the result. So I think the system right now is just fine. I think a lot of elites want to tinker with it to try and make a diversity play. Most likely it will backfire on them, and it probably works just fine right now.
Why not just have a national primary day, one day, Labor Day?
Well, because we're 50 states and our elections are run on the state level.
And it's hard
some people in Washington forget that, but that's how it works.
Yeah, and it's hard to organize in that short a period of time. I mean, look at what happened in Massachusetts when we have such a late primary.
But we have one general election. Why isn't there one primary? I can't talk anymore about it because I've been told I have to go to commercial. We'll be right back.